6 months later, as Joe likes to tell me.
And on that note, we got Cari Grace here with us, who did a book review for Joe Willie, the returning guest. Did a book review for his book, The Blood in the Wood. So welcome back, Joe and Cari. Thank you for joining me. And I'm Paul Dosky, and this is like a weird introduction already. So let's get right into this. But the weirdest thing about this, well, maybe not weirdest thing, but, since I myself just barely started reading Joe's book here, Cari here is going to actually, Cari's going to actually take over and start asking questions for Joe about the book. And then later on, we're going to dive into a little bit of the Crybaby Bridge. Without further ado, Cari, take it away.
Well, now I'm all awkward. Thanks, Paul. I feel a little bit like a game show host right now. Yeah, like I feel a little bit like a game show host, except nobody can see me, like doing the Vanna. It's okay.
Do your worst. Do your worst.
Oh, no, you don't want that. We don't have enough time. It's past my bedtime, remember?
It is.
So I'm not even going to lie to you. I read it in about 16 hours. I read the entire book. I didn't sleep.
Oh, wow. That's a record.
Well, I have a problem. It's called once I start, I can't stop. So I'm up, and of course I was, sitting in the dark by myself with one little light on, reading this horror story, which I probably shouldn't have done, and scared myself. So thank you for that, I have to say. So you based it on a small town, clearly not a real place, based on a real place in Louisiana. I assume it's based roughly on where you lived when you were a kid?
No, it's a real town, and these were real issues that we were having. And it wasn't just our small town of Hammond. It was across the Bible Belt, through Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, during, the height of the Satanic Panic. So the town of Hammond is real. A lot of people are angry at me for sort of airing some dirty laundry that the town still doesn't like talking about to this day. But residents who are from there, they do remember everything, that was mentioned somewhat in this book. So, yeah, I'm not a fan of my hometown sometimes.
Understandably so. So I know we've talked previously about, hang on a second, I have to do 800 things at once. We did talk previously about how you had based it on yourself and, your childhood friends and your family and whatnot. And were they angry? I guess. How angry were they?
No, I mean, when I started writing the novel in 2000, I started writing it in 2006. Like, I can't even remember when I started. All I know is I remember I finished in 2010, and well before then, like in 2008, I got permission from all my friends, childhood friends and family, to utilize their names in the book. Some I couldn't use because I wasn't in touch with them. Back in those days, we still only had MySpace, and some people didn't have that. They were happy, excited. It was one way that I could honor my childhood friends is by putting, a fictitious version of ourselves, which a lot of what you read was true, and the relationships were real, like especially between myself and Jack. I mean, I just talked to Jack 3 days ago, and it was really easy. They were excited, they were happy, and the book didn't put anyone in a bad light. It really was true to their characters of who they were.
Good. Yeah, you can tell that as well. You can tell that they were real people based on the way you portrayed them. You didn't feel like you were just, oh, this is a made-up character. This is a real person, and you're actually seeing it from their perspective, or your version of their perspective from what they've told you. And a lot of it, I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere as well, so I get, seeing things and not knowing what they were, or asking what they were and being, oh, don't worry about it. You guys figured it out on your own, You guys lived it and experienced it and had all of these things happen, I mean, obviously not quite as much as I would hope, quite as much as what happened in the book, but, you guys saw these things pretty much daily, or, when you were out doing your kid thing, not realizing what you were getting yourselves into.
Yeah, we witnessed a lot out there, in that country area of Baptist, the Hammond area, everything from just like, the cattle mutilation was real. The drums in the woods were real. The reports of like occult activities, all that was going on through the South. There was reported murders going on behind some of the high schools out in Hammond and surrounding areas. There was a man in the mall. There was, a lot of things. I could spend all day. I don't want to give away everything to readers who haven't read it yet, but you and I can talk offline anytime, and I'll let you know what was real and what was not as real. And I had to, make a fictitious story that was engaging and adventurous and exciting to readers to, to just get into it, and I really wanted, as I became an adult, I look back, and me and Jack just talked about this not too long ago. Like, if Jody and Jack, the characters from the book, who was a version of ourselves growing up, and we were bad as shit, if Jody and Jack were to come knock on our doors, we would not let our kids play with them. And so I wanted, the kids sort of to be detestable, and I wanted them to sort of be not like they're different characters. And I think that's what makes the novel stand out so much, is that these aren't your like average, good kids. These guys are almost like anti-hero kids. They're sort of like rebels. Like, they're into everything, and stuff that me and Jack did back in the day still get me in trouble, because I just got my first ever 1-star review, and I got 1 star not because it was a bad book, but because all of the foul language and the derogatory terms used towards, I guess, people who are heavyset and LBGT communities. Look, guys, this is a work of fiction. Do not fucking 1-star me on a work of fictitious, semi-fictitious characters and shit kids said in the 90s. I laughed so hard when I read it, and I sort of felt like I earned the badge of honor getting a 1-star. And they said the book was great, but they just could not believe that an author like myself could write these like horrible things. Look, guys, it is fiction. It's fake. So still shit me and Jack did, and maybe we used to say when we were kids, still get me in trouble today. And I'm almost 40.
I hear you. Trust me. I still get in trouble for things, and my mother goes, "What?" Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and I still can't listen or hear drums in the dark without getting creeped out, because that's the first thing I think of now that I've read the book.
Yeah, that happened a lot. Almost every full moon, man, we used to hear them. My mother and my brother and I, and we never could put our finger on it. Other people would say they heard them. Other people said they didn't. I mean, there's just some really weird stuff going on. So I knew I had something to capture.
Yeah, you also made me cry, so I appreciate that. When I won't give it away, but the dog, I cried. I'm an animal person, so I was like bawling, ugly crying when that whole situation went down, and I'm like, why am I crying right now? What's wrong with me? I was a disaster. I'm telling you, it was like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, like sobbing, and everyone's looking at me, and I'm like, all right, I'm sorry, I need to put this book down, but I can't, so just bear with me here. And then I was fine. Yeah. So then when Paul asked me to review it, I said absolutely, because a lot of books, they start off slow, and I said this to Paul. I said, sometimes books start off slow, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. But I keep reading it to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I'm not going to lie, I thought the same thing of yours, and then it literally like pulled me in like second chapter. I was ready to continue reading. So I mean, I'll give you kudos there.
Thank you.
I can vouch on this for you, Joe, about Cari. Cari, like the day I gave her your book, she literally told me at like noon o'clock. She goes, "Do you know how far I am right now?" And it's noon o'clock, and you gave me the book at like 8. I'm like,
yeah,
how far
I sat
are
at my
you?
desk at work and was reading it. I was like halfway through it.
Yeah, she was already halfway through it at fucking noon, and this is like 4-hour period.
That's what the fuck I'm talking about. That's how you knock it out.
Well, that's what I said. I said I need more books. I need more of your books, so that way I can see, if the next one does it.
Oh yeah, I'm about to wrap up on my first novella here next month. I should probably be done in less than 2 weeks, so I'll have a novella up and ready and start pushing it out to see who's interested. So hopefully it doesn't take as long as it did for Blood in the Woods, 7 years to reach publication. I got a lot of credibility to my name and a lot of reviews to show my worth and the stories that I'm telling, and a lot of it's because of you guys and gals from these podcasts and everybody who has me on. It's all one big horror team and one fight, and I couldn't do what I do without you guys.
Well, we appreciate it. I can say that.
I will second that.
Oh, I'm trying to think of any other questions. I don't have my notes on me because I'm sitting outside in the dark right now. I can't really see anything other than the creepy tree line, which is making it worse now that I'm talking about the book. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm surprised you finished it in one swift read. A lot of people. I was just on a podcast not long ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and one of the reviewers, they just said they had to completely just take a break on certain scenes. They had to stand up, walk away, put the book down, and then come back for a couple more, in a couple minutes. They had to take breaks because it got a little intense. So.
I agree. It did. There were times that, you have to stop and process what you're reading because you're like, did that really just happen? But, I don't know. For me, I read pretty much anything when I have time, as Paul can tell you. It clearly takes me a while to do things. But, for something like that didn't take me long at all because it is good. It's worth it. And when you get to the part where you figure out, based on, things that actually happened, you're like, oh, well, how did these kids survive? How did something bad not happen in real life? You know what I mean? Outside of what you guys knew, not a lot of people know about the things that happened down there or, anywhere, honestly, at this day and age. People don't realize that this stuff really happened.
And I think that's what makes 100%. I think that's what makes
small
the novel.
Towns.
Yeah, I think that's what makes the novel so terrifying to people because it's real and it's based in reality. And these things happen. They happen right now. I mean, a lot of the violence in the book towards children. What inspired a lot of that was one, just my personal experiences as a soldier in Afghanistan, and also the crimes that were committed in 2006 in the Hosanna Church out in Ponchatoula. So if you just Google those crimes that were committed in there, they were pretty horrendous. And
I did.
Yeah, so when that happened, the same year those crimes occurred was the same year that Jack lost his sister Jamie, who was also a very good friend to me. And so it was really weird. And word on the street, and I was told this by Angela, one of the characters from the books, when the novel first came out. And it started causing sort of a stir around Hammond and anybody who had read it. Apparently, one of the guys that was arrested in 2006 in those crimes in the church grew up on our street as we were as kids. Yeah, there's a lot going on. And, I'm not going to stop until the story gets to who it needs to go to for a possible series or film. I got several films in development right now. I mean, I just wrapped on one yesterday in post, so it's head off to the composer already. And I mean, that is, I think, my goal as a writer, as an author, as a filmmaker, is to get this story told to the world, on the big screen. Because believe it or not, people would rather watch than read. I mean, that's just what it is. Yeah, 'cause, I mean, when I put out a Blood in the Woods trailer that's on YouTube and it got shared on social media 40,000 times, had 40,000 likes or views, but I don't sell 40,000 books.
Right.
So it goes to show you the Americans, what society is. They'd rather watch than read. So, and
right.
I mean, that's my goal.
See it happening rather than read it happening and be like, oh, it's just a book. It's no big deal. Seeing something in front of your face is different than reading it. Especially for a lot of people who are like, oh, it's just another horror book. It's not real. They can say whatever they want to say. Well, you know what? You have all of the ammunition to back that up. You know what I mean? You have the articles and the people who they can see, these were real people. This really happened. This happened to these people in this little town. And then something even worse happened, and one of the people was somebody from this area who, knew about all of these things and still thought, oh, let's go do this, and it's, I don't know. Society itself is weird. I don't understand it. And you read everything every day where it's horrifying, and you think that could never happen, and that's never going to happen. Well, look at Hammond's, a tiny little town in the middle of nothing. There's a lot of people that live like that now. I mean, I'm sitting on my porch now. There's literally nothing around me. I live in a tiny little town where things happen, and people don't realize.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope my goal is to eventually get it to someone. I mean, I'm not doing this for no reason. I don't try to promote myself and my works just because, I just do it. A lot of writers and stuff write their works and put it out there. They're not seeking like fame or success, but I am. I mean, and other writers can tell you that, but why the fuck are you putting anything out if you don't want to see some type of success from it? You might as well just write it in a notebook and store it in your fucking desk drawer. Why even put it out in publication if you don't want someone to notice, someone to read, someone to see? So I don't believe that shit. So when people are like, I just write and put it out because I want to, you're full of shit, bro. Nah. You want something to happen. You might not just be as confident in your work, but you want something to happen. You're putting it out there for a reason. And, with Blood in the Woods, I mean, I hope somebody comes knocking once. I had an agent out of New Orleans already had it pitched to a streaming service I will not name, and they shot it down. So on to the next one. It's on to the next one. Don't stop. I'm never going to stop until I achieve my goals.
Speaking of achieving goals, Joe, have you still, let me rephrase this. Have you found somebody yet to do the audiobook yet?
I haven't heard anything on the audiobook, man. Like, it's sort of a sore subject for me, like right now. People that work with me in the military say Joe Willie is very easy to work for, but not with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very creative, and I like a lot of things my way. So, and because I can see the potential of doing things differently and really breaking the doors open with audiobooks. Like, I don't know why some people are fans of audiobooks that just have one reader, which is the narrator, and that's it. Just reading to you like your grandmother next to you, like a fucking bedtime story. Like, that would bore the fuck out of me as a listener to listening to that. And I don't know where Blood in the Woods is at right now with the audiobook. I don't even know if it's ever going to happen, but I do know that I would love to see it as more of a cinematic experience for listeners when they're listening to it. You have, unsolicited music that you can use that don't need copyright. You have sound effects. You have multiple narrators. And I have a good buddy. Our books debuted together. His name's Preston Fassel. His novel is called Our Lady of the Inferno, and he works for Fangoria magazine. And his book just got picked up. Ours came out the same time it got picked up for film. It's heading to a film adaptation. And his audiobook is also coming out too. And they were thinking outside the box, and they have multiple narrators. I think Barbara Crampton's like narrating, and somebody else is going to be doing the other voice. That's thinking outside the box. That's how you bring more of a entertaining experience to listeners. And some people we just don't see eye to eye, and that's fine. Not many people are go-getters in the world. People just want to keep the shit simple, do it easy. The easy way is not always the right way. You want to make an impact. You want a bestseller. You want something great, something unique, something different. You got to think outside the fucking box. Bottom line. But as far as the audiobook, I don't know where it's at. I don't even know what's happening. I sort of don't give a fuck. So I really don't care at this point. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well said.
I agree. I'm with you on that. I don't want to listen to somebody just telling me a story. I want to feel like I'm there, and hearing the different voices and hearing. I have to agree that cinematic-wise, it would make more sense that way than it would because there's so much going on. To hear it, to see it, to feel it, to be there, I think would make, honestly, you're correct, it would make more sense that way than it would to, have earphones in and listening to somebody tell you a story. It doesn't have the same feeling. Mm-hmm. Especially, 100%. Something like this. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from, and I do agree. It would make more sense that way.
Yeah, for example, there was a guy I was on the podcast with. His name is Kenny, and he's on the Haunted Heart podcast. and he read the first chapter of Blood in the Woods and posted it to his podcast page, their podcast page, and it was absolutely phenomenal. And why I'm sort of so bitter about it is that he read the first chapter with Jerry riding his bike on the pavement, in case thinking about singing Casey and the Sunshine Band, and he actually put the Casey and the Sunshine Band music in it, and you can hear the bike pedaling on the street and the wind blowing, and it just really just brought you to that street where he was at. And I really think that's where audiobooks need to go. And I think Blood in the Woods would be an intense fucking experience to listen to that madness, that darkness, that just sheer intensity of what it is, come to life through audiobook the right way. I mean, it would scare the fuck out of people.
Correct.
So,
oh yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there's so much you can do now with not even using a podcast. Even you could just use it for your own way of storytelling. Just add the sound effects, like you were saying, Joe, and just having that different characters or different actors portraying the different characters can help bring in the real feel of the horror. And I have to say, if I was reading your book in an audio format where it did have some sort of sound effects, oh yeah, it would probably put me into the universe and make me feel oh my god, I really feel this is me riding that bicycle or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Because the book is very nostalgic. I think the novel is, since it's labeled horror, I think that actually shackles the book more than it should be. Because, yes, it has a cult horror element. There's a lot of dark, demonic, just crazy imagery. It's extremely violent, which I think is what gives it its horror, label. But in the end, it's really a coming-of-age novel. It's very nostalgic. You see all the reviews. You see all the write-ups. People call it the Stand By Me of horror, the adult version of Stranger Things. They say, everything about the book. And like I said, it's really nostalgic. So if you can hear those, early 90s, alternative, metal songs playing in the background while narrators, talking, and it really brings you back to a time maybe that you loved or maybe you didn't, but at least it brings you back somewhere. And I really just hope that is able to happen if Blood in the Woods does go to audiobook. So if not, I'm going to be very just not happy with it. And I'm just going to be very honest. I don't care who hears it. I won't be happy with it. And I'll probably never talk about it.
Oh boy.
Just being real with you. I'm 100% real, man.
Oh, I know you are. From the last time we talked. So I can only imagine all the shit that you've actually gone through within the past couple months that we haven't talked. So I mean,
oh yeah, I'm sick of everybody's shit.
Yeah, see, exactly.
I'm sick of a lot of shit.
Now, one of the things I was wondering, Joe, which I forget if we touched on it last time. I don't think we did because we were waiting for Cari here to get her shit together. But anyway.
Get out of bed and not be an old lady. Sorry.
Is some of the inspiration that you said, Joe? But what made you actually really want what made you want to put in these specific type of inspirations into the book? Is it because you wanted to show that there is real horror out there, not just the made-up bullshit with a bow on top? Or, what made you go, I want to add this and this to help bring into the story?
That's a great question. No one's asked me that on a lot out of almost all the podcasts I've been on. There's not many people catch it in Blood in the Woods. One, I'm a horror fan, and one of my favorite movies I saw as a kid when I was 7, 8, 9 years old was this movie called Race with the Devil, and it was an occult horror film, and it had some dark imagery. You can actually see a glimpse of it in the movie The Burbs. Tom Hanks is sitting on his bed, and there's a part where this guy is wearing devil horns, and he stabs a knife in this girl they're sacrificing at this fire pit. So that struck a really a strong image in my young brain that was always engraved on my mind, the story of, who done it? Who are these evil Satanists? Who are these devil worshipers, killing people? And then, as I started to grow older, on the street that I was living out there, I started witnessing these things that were in films. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I started seeing Geraldo Rivera and Oprah Winfrey, growing up as a kid with the Satanic Panic. And then I started noticing, the church up by our house that was covered in pentagrams, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? So I guess when I started putting everything together, I had never experienced another occult, like, whodunit horror story like Race with the Devil, the 1975 film with Peter Fonda. And I was like, and I'm a huge fan of Stand By Me and Coming of Age. I'm a very nostalgic person. I am a Scorpio, so I'm a textbook Scorpio asshole. But I do love, you know, my memories and the past, and I love my friends, and loyalty is a big thing to me. And my friends were very loyal to each other, and I wanted to write something extremely, like, violent, but something very different and heartwarming and just heartbreaking. And I wanted it to be a roller coaster of emotions. So, and I guess I just started putting everything in the pot. And then after Jamie died, I just started plotlining the novel with the things that I witnessed as a kid, with some of the occult imagery from that film, like the guy wearing the devil horns in the book. That was really inspired by Race with the Devil. And you guys are the first people to know that. Not many people catch it, because I don't think many people have watched the film, but it's phenomenal.
There was I can't remember the name of it. We watched, when I was a kid, my dad, shockingly enough, 5 girls, was watching some horror movie, and I was probably 14. And, you know, I may have actually been that movie, because I remember coming downstairs, and there was a guy on the TV with the devil horns on, and I remember going, what are you watching? You know, so and it's funny, because when I was reading that part in the book, that was the first thing I thought of, was coming downstairs at like 10 o'clock at night, and my dad's watching some weird, like, horror movie, and he's got 5 girls upstairs who are sleeping, and I'm like, you know, you have small children, right? And he's like, this movie is fantastic, and it made, I'm going to have to ask him now that I think about it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that answers your question, Paul, but I mean, I just sort of wanted to be a bag of just everything that I love in horror and in life, which is friends, family, first loves, and true horror.
No, you answered it pretty good. I was just also thinking, like, because, you know, when you mentioned about the events that we were just touching on a few minutes ago with, like, the church massacre and stuff like that, is, like, did you plan on adding those also to the book, or did those kind of just...
Well, I knew that when Stephen King wrote Stand By Me, it was like, I think it was like titled, you know, The Body and like the Loss of Innocence or whatever. And when those crimes came out, when those crimes occurred, I sort of had an ending to the novel in some way. I'm not going to give away the readers of what happens, but there's a very horrendous scene that most people can't stomach or get through. And I didn't do it for shock value, and I didn't do it just to be gross and freak people out. I did it because it shows a true loss of innocence in every aspect of life for a child, a human being, just anyone. And I sort of took some of the crimes that were committed in there and put it in Blood in the Woods and mixed it up. Basically, it was a little bit like therapy to me. When I was in Afghanistan, I used to witness a lot of child, like, molestation and rape, and we as soldiers couldn't do anything about it. We were told, you know, it's just look away. Like, and it bothered a lot of us, and it sort of fucked me up for a while. And when I wrote Blood in the Woods, I wanted to have redemption. I wanted to do something for the kids that I couldn't do, that I witnessed years ago, that I couldn't do anything for. I mean, we did do some things, and I won't talk about it, but I just wanted to pull people out of their comfort zone and really hit them with a reality check, because what you read in Blood in the Woods is not about a clown living under the fucking sewers or a guy with a hockey mask chasing you through the woods. This can really happen. This does happen, and it did happen. And I think that's what really strikes a nerve in readers, to where they either can't handle it, or they just put it down and walk away, or they one-star me for saying the word fat bitch. I don't know. So...
the shock value is definitely there, and my uncle was also in the military, and he slowly but surely has said things that along the same lines that you have. So, I mean, for me, hearing those things as an adult, it while it's shocking, I know it happens, you know, he did a bunch of tours. He was very high up. He saw things that he still, to this day, can't, without bursting into tears, talk about. So we don't, you know, obviously we don't talk about very much. But, you know, that, you're correct saying that part, you know, you didn't do it. You did it for the purpose of the story. You know, for people who don't realize that this is a real thing. You know, you're not doing it to be like, oh, he just needed to, you know, get another chapter in his book. No, you did it because these things really do happen, you know, there and here, you know, all over the world. And I have to agree. That was one of the parts where I had to, like, put the book down for a second and was like, oof, that was a lot, you know, but then you realize that, you know, you did it for, it made sense, you know, for the story and for getting it out there. That, you know, this you can't just walk away from it, you know, as much as you don't want to believe that it's a real thing, you know.
Right. Yeah, and I think one of my goals, you know, because Stephen King was a big inspiration to me, and he's my favorite author of all time, and I love his you know, like, nostalgic like stories, and Stand by Me, the Body is one of my favorite, and, you know, I remember the film as one of my favorite films too, by Rob Reiner, and I just remember, like, their loss of innocence, these children were to confront the dead body and to stand their ground against a bully. And, you know, Gordy pulls the gun and points it at Ace. And I was like, okay. I was like, how the fuck can I top that? I was like, how can I give somebody really something to remember, a real showdown? Mm-hmm. I was like, how can I give it? And I think I delivered.
Mm-hmm. You did.
Yeah, I can't really say too much, but to touch on about the whole topic about the kids and stuff of how this can actually happen is, Joe, this is the perfect way to say the way of talking about this can happen with the children is that one of the reasons why the introduction to the book about this book is to hopefully open up your eyes to appreciate your children and love them more? Is that the idea?
Exactly. Like, I wanted people to read, you know, my silly little novel. I wanted them to read it, and I wanted them to put it down, and I wanted them to call a friend that they hadn't spoken to for decades, and I wanted them to go and open the door to their kids' bedrooms and look at them while they slept, and go in and kiss them and cherish them, you know, because some people don't cherish their kids or cherish the important people in their life. And I really sort of wanted Blood in the Woods to just wake people up and make you feel uneasy, make you feel like, oh my God, this intense story's over. Let me go see my kids. Let me go see my family. You know, I'm happy that we're safe. And I think that was, you know, something I really wanted to do. And, but I also wanted it to be a positive thing too. Like, reconnect with people, old friends, family. You know, like I told you, might be a Scorpio, but I got a soft heart for friends and family. So, and even my podcast family. But, yeah, that's why.
Well, we love you too, Joe.
Love you guys too. I mean, you're correct, Paul. That's why I
I'm still on the fence. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I honestly can't think of anything else since I'm still reading the book. But Cari, is there anything else for Blood in the Woods for Joe?
Not until you've read it, because I don't want to ruin it for you. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who's still in the process of reading it. I will say it's definitely worth it. And if you can beat my time of 16 hours, I will gladly take that challenge.
Oh, boy. Well, you heard it here first with that challenge. So make sure you let us know if you beat it in under 16 hours.
But, at your desk at work.
Oh, geez. Well, Cari, I know you're probably on a time thing, and you probably need to go to bed. So,
well, I'm awake now. So if we want to keep going here with Crybaby Bridge and it's coming out, I am totally down.
All right. Well, that's going to be our next thing. And Joe, one last thing about Blood in the Woods, actually, and I'm actually having a brain fart of where I fucking saw you post it, but I saw you mention something about the main protagonist in your book. Something about a return. So, can you say anything about that?
Ooh, no, I cannot. Just stay tuned.
Oh, I remember seeing that too now that you mention it, and I was going to question it, but then I was like, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, we're gonna have to wait, I guess.
Well, I wish we know we will be seeing them again or reading them again, however you want to look at it. So, yeah, that's a good thing. But yes,
it is.
but Crybaby Bridge, Joe. So we talked about that last time, where it was still, I believe, actually, no, I don't even think it was in the process of filming. I think you guys were still in the pre-production or something. And you guys finally finished Crybaby Bridge, and it's a short film. And tell us about it. When can we expect it? How was the shooting?
It was a blast. I had a wonderful time. I had a phenomenal crew. The cast were great. All local actors here from the Leesville, Louisiana area, and Lake Charles. Had an actor come out of Lake Charles, and New Orleans, Mr. Joey Alonzo, who also stars in my other film that we just wrapped in last month, 2 months ago. I can't even remember, man. My life is so busy. But it was a blast. I got to meet and work with Crystal Kershaw. She actually did the makeup on Twilight. She was Matthew McConaughey's personal makeup assistant. She just did The Dirt, all of Nikki Sixx's makeup in on the Netflix film The Dirt. She's a great lady. She did the makeup for the creature and everything. And Emily Martinez, another fabulous makeup person up in Monroe, Louisiana. She did a phenomenal job with the creature design and effects. And I had just a phenomenal team, and I couldn't do it all, without my first assistant director, which is my cousin, Caitlin Jones, and she works for a production company up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So it was just a good time, man, and it was a bloody good time, to say the least. And I just honestly wrapped it post-production. Like, it's off to the composer, man. So it's going to be a couple months probably before that's done, and then I'll start submitting to independent film festivals, and I'm pretty sure we're going to win some things, and I'm excited. I mean, the soundtracking just alone is going to be phenomenal. Lost Outrider, his name's Nathan Michael. He lives in the UK. You can go download his music right now on iTunes, Spotify. His name's Lost Outrider. He's composing the entire film. One of his songs is actually featured in it too, as well as the band Future Cop, New Arcades, Fresh P, a rap artist that used to be one of my old soldiers. I was actually his drill sergeant. He's down in Florida right now. He's an independent rap artist. He's sort of blowing up down there. He's really good. And we have like a local band from Leesville that contributed one of the songs to the film too. So just in soundtrack and music alone, it's going to be very good. And I was excited that the artists wanted to participate and allowed me, to utilize, their songs, in the film. And I just really want to get it in the film festivals and, try to get some more credibility to my name. And after we do a good festival run, then when I'm done with it and happy with it or not happy with it, whatever, horror fans are going to deem it, I'll put it up online, Vimeo, YouTube, for everybody to view. But I got to get it in the film festivals first, and most film festivals will not take your work if your film is out, on any type of social media that they can view it. So I got to wait.
Right. Well, I'll be looking for the film festival near us to go see it, so that way I can see it first.
Yeah, I'm going to be submitting like a crazy madman. And believe it or not, I'm going to give, all my podcast family that has had me on, from you guys, Horror and Sons, Dead Entertainment, everyone that I've been a part of and keep in contact with, you guys are going to get a viewing of the film, so you don't really have to worry, about the film festival thing. So,
but we appreciate it.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah, it'd be like a personal type viewing that certain people are only allowed to see. You can do those types of things.
Right.
And hopefully, get some credit. Not credit, some comments from you guys, and start, promoting it that way by, other horror fans alike.
Speaking of promoting, going back to Blood in the Wood, Joe, did you ever get that quote from Cari?
Yeah, I did. I put it on one of the...
I did one thing right, Paul. Jeez.
Well, I remember him asking about it. I just didn't ever hear back from Joe if she ever got it. So.
He had to message me because I forgot, and then I did it, and we were fine.
Okay, well, good. Yeah. But in that case, yeah, good.
I mean, I like giving that. I mean, no one yet has given me like a shit like review from anyone the book at all. So I mean, if Caroline would have been like, "This book is shit," I'm not going to put that on any promotional trailer or poster and put it out.
I would have gotten a lot of hate mail. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, what I do like to do, and why I asked for a podcast and people who did enjoy the book, if they want to give a quote for it, is because, you know, all of us are all supporting another and promoting each other's podcasts, their works, literary, film, and it all just, I don't forget the people who were there for me to help me out. So if I can get your name on something, and maybe 10 people just saw the poster that got shared on social media, that's now 10 new people possibly that know about your podcast. So
right.
I try to
it actually does work out well.
Yeah, I try to repay it back, even in little forms like that, because I appreciate everyone. So.
Yeah, my sister actually asked if she could borrow my copy of the book because she knew I was doing this and she knew that I had talked to you, and she was like, "Oh, I want to read it if it's that good." And I was like, "Oh, you have to be really ready for it because you don't read like I do, so I don't want a phone call in the middle of the night going, 'What the hell is this?' And I'm going to be like, 'Well, this is what you asked for. You're welcome.'" She would call me and be like, "I'm all done. I made it halfway through. I'm good." And I'd be like, no, you have to finish it because you have to know what happens. Otherwise, it's going to bother you.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
I can already hear it now at work.
Yeah, she's not really a horror person. I mean, she enjoys it as much as the next person, but she's not like, like this where she'll have a conversation. She's very shy as well. She won't have a conversation with the person, so she's only going to get the context of the book and be like, "What the hell is wrong with you people?"
I know Paul just started reading it. I'm not sure how far he is, but Caroline, do you consider it a horror novel? Like, what do you consider it?
I mean, I guess you could consider it horror, but in all honesty, like you said, it's more of one of those. There are parts where you're like, "Oh no, this is scary." Well, that was a horrible rendition, but but then you once you've processed it, it is, it's very much like Stand By Me. It's very much a coming of age, loss of innocence. If you get it, and if you don't take it as a horror book or as a horror genre, it really honestly could be young adult. Well, maybe a little bit more than that, depending on what kind of young adult you are, but I would put it up there with, I don't even know. I've read so many books, it's hard. I honestly wouldn't really classify it as a horror in and of itself. I would really constitute it as a coming of age. You feel good about parts of it, and then other parts of it you're like, Jesus, like what kid wants to go through that? So I would really put it in the middle of the horror genre, but it really leans into the the young adult coming of age, learning who you are and what you're capable of, put in a tough situation. So I don't know. I would really have to like really sit down and process it, but I wouldn't really just only specify it as a horror book.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think it's in Amazon under like occult fiction is where it's like listed, because it's one of those tricky books, and I didn't even realize how tricky it was until I started getting reviews and people contacting me like, somebody said it reminds me of Catcher in the Rye, like how bad these kids are, and they're just like talking shit and like saying all these horrible words, and then somebody recently a Goodreads reviewer, I don't even know who it was, they had said it reminded them of This Boy's Life, like memoir type telling of coming of age, but it's that dark occult horror element that I think will always keep it in the horror genre. I mean, you take that out, strictly coming of age. So
right, absolutely.
Not necessarily the occult. Maybe it's just the violence of. I think it's just a dark fiction novel. I get confused on my own work. That's why I like asking. I don't really know. Me, it's been out for 2 years, and people ask me a lot of questions, and now that it's been out for 2 years, and I'm hearing all the reviews and people talking about it, I don't really know where to fucking classify it.
I would almost say, from where I am real quick, is that it's a disturbing coming-of-age horror novel. And the reason why I'm saying horror novel is because, we have some horror element that is pretty much real-life stuff. And that's
the occult, I mean, you touch on it, but you don't delve
into it.
You delve into it, but not to the point where it should be specified, I guess, as an occult book. You know what I mean? Like the context is there, but you don't really.
Yeah, it's a wacky. It's an odd job. It's a hodgepodge of all kind of ideas.
Like it's hard to like even like to figure it out. Like even as talking to you, it's hard to figure out really what to specify it as because there's so much to it that it could really fit in a lot of places, but it gets labeled because, like you said, because of the dark elements of it. People are like, oh, that's a horror. There's blood. Horror,
I think not even the occult imagery either. I think maybe just the extreme violence in it is what gets it up there too.
I must say, if it becomes a movie, I'm gonna be that person who watches it with the lights on, and I already know what happens at the end. You have no idea. I watched. What did I watch? Paranormal Activity. One of those weird, how it was like all the stories. So no, I decided it was a good idea to watch it at night by myself in the dark, and I have a mirror at the end of my hallway, and I turned my bathroom light on and went to walk in there, and it looked like there was a person standing there, and it was myself. Scared myself, ran back, dove on my bed. Yeah, I'm that type of person. I love to be scared, but when it happens when I'm by myself, I'm like, no, thank you. You guys can judge me all you want. It's fine.
I find it awesome that people can get scared. Wow, somebody like me, it takes a lot for me to get scared, which is sad because that's what I want. I want to be scared. I think the last time I actually freaked myself out was when I was really tired. This was back in Blockbuster days where I rented Paranormal Activity and The Force Kind. And let me tell you what, not having so much sleep and watching those two movies back to back, and then being in the house by yourself definitely tells a whole new story.
Yeah, and like Joe said, it's not a movie about a clown underneath the sewers. But I will tell you, I don't like clowns. Never have. And
a lot of people don't. Man. A lot of people don't. They don't bother me.
I went to the circus, and there was one walking towards us, and I actually threw my nephew like a meat shield in front of me and was like, please don't touch me. It was terrible. God, he was like 4, nephew. And I felt bad, but I couldn't do it. I freeze up. I don't know what to do. And then, of course, I had to see the new one.
You're scared of clowns. I'm scared of snakes. I will shit my pants if I see a snake. So
you need to never meet in person because I feel like you'll show up dressed as a clown, and I will have to throw snakes at you. So that we're even. And you live in the South where there's snakes everywhere.
Oh, I fucking know. I was just mowing my mother-in-law's house or her yard in Georgia a couple weeks back and killed 2 fucking snakes, man, with a backhoe. Not a backhoe, with a I don't know what the fuck I grabbed out of the shed. All I know is that motherfucker was in like 30 pieces.
That's a bitch like my husband. He runs them over with the big mower.
No, that motherfucker, that was the most brutal snake death that, like, my 18-year-old son was like, well, he's about to be 18, and he was standing there, and I was like, I think it was a pickaxe. Not a pickaxe. Oh, God, I don't know what the fuck it was. Like one of those gardening hoes? No, it was like a big, I don't know what the fuck it was, but it's got 2 confirmed kills. So, I mean, that fucking snake stood no chance, bro. I whacked that motherfucker into so many pieces, it was ridiculous. There was nothing left of that bitch.
That poor snake.
Fuck that snake. Only good snake's a dead snake.
Every time I see one now, I'm going to start laughing.
Hey, garter snakes are not that bad.
I'm just going to picture Joe with some weird gardening tool. It was a murder.
It was a fucking murder. I'm pretty sure the neighbors across the street thought I was committing a fucking murder.
Thought he had Tourette's for a minute. He was out there beating the crap out of the ground.
Dude, I was hitting it was on the concrete too. It like came out of the grass and like onto the sidewalk.
Oh, like, so you had some leverage to it. Hi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you have to get the pressure washer out after to clean up the murder scene?
No, I left it for all to see.
So he can go back and tell his friends not to screw with you.
Yeah, don't fuck with me. Tell your friends, bro.
I'm gonna leave this here, and they're all gonna know.
Yeah, they're gonna eat your fucking ass, motherfucker.
Oh man.
On that note, Joe, real quick for people that may not have listened to the first interview with you, but can you give us a quick little brief synopsis of Crybaby Bridge?
Crybaby Bridge is a story about it's a folklore type story. Like every state has a version of Crybaby Bridge. Like in Texas, if you go out to a bridge and you honk the horn 3 times, you'll hear like a woman crying or whatever. It's your typical ghost story, but I wanted to tell like just a fun tale and just sort of shock audiences. I wanted to shock again. So I added something very, very fun in the film. Basically, it's an urban legend story about Crybaby Bridge. 2 guys are out ghost hunting at the bridge, and their 2 dates are waiting for them back at the bar, and they encounter a suspicious person, like, in the bar that starts confessing to them something, and then, booyah, the film kicks off.
Interesting. We have one of those up here.
Everybody has Crybaby Bridge, man. Like, every state has their legend of Crybaby Bridge.
Uh-huh. Oddly enough, I was actually just watching a program the other day about those types of urban legends in every state. They're all very similar, but they all have a little bit something different.
Yep.
You know, or if it's a ghost story, or how the person died, or why the person died, or what they do to you when you go out there and torment them, and this and that. So I could see it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking forward to
it. Yeah, but it's escalated. It's kicked up a notch. People are going to be shocked.
Oh, good.
It's going to be a good time. I mean, the trailer should be coming in the next couple weeks. I talked to Nathan today, the composer, Lost Outrider. He's in the works right now, and he just wrapped up his new album, and he's moving on to it. So excited to hear it in the next couple weeks. And when that's out, you'll be able to see it all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And, you know, I'm really fucking missing MySpace nowadays. Aren't you guys? I really miss fucking MySpace.
Yes.
I miss picking a page background and the music. I miss all that.
I miss kicking motherfuckers off my number 1 and putting them in the number 2 just to hear them music about it. That was so much
Or taking them off the top 10 completely.
Yeah, that was like so much fun. You know how much like if you had like your top 10 podcasts and you just kept moving them around, that would be just so fun.
Oh my God.
Like just
everybody would be so butthurt.
I know.
Welcome to 2019.
Imagine.
Everybody's a little fucking crybaby nowadays. We need to do that. We need to bring it back.
Amen.
That would be great.
We got to set it up, Paul.
Yes, we do.
We'll have to set it up MySpace style on the web page. It'll be great.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Move Joe to number 10 and see how long it takes him to get kicked off.
Yeah. Put me on 10. Put me on 10. I just miss music on my page. Music on my page. God, that was so much fun.
It's not the same posting the YouTube video. It doesn't automatically start when you open up the person's page.
Nope.
Now you gotta like watch a fucking tampon commercial before you watch anything on YouTube.
Yeah.
Now.
And then you gotta watch those stupid Sprint commercials. Like nobody cares. Nobody wants Sprint right now. So just move on.
It makes me want to go buy tampons.
Maybe for all the crybabies out there.
I mean, some of those untuck it shirts. I mean, that's not really a girl thing, but I see a lot of videos. They look really comfortable. Jeez.
Yeah, shove it up your asses.
Yeah, right. Move your head to the side. I got a tampon for you.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Oh, man.
We're moving forward with this before this gets any more deeper.
I warned you it was going to get weird.
It's all good. It's all good. This is what as long as we don't start talking about anal beads, we're all good. But anyway.
No, we don't do that. Listen, you wanted a female perspective, but you picked the wrong female. I'm just letting you know.
No, we didn't. We're having a good time. So we have picked the right female, I think, for this conversation. Anyway.
I don't offend easily.
Well, that's me neither.
Yeah, neither do I. But on that note, Joe, so for people listening on West Cari, do you have anything else left to ask Joe about either Crybaby Bridge or Blood in the Woods?
I just need a date on that trailer so I can get ready. And right now, I don't have anything else on Blood in the Woods yet.
Well, I guess Joe said about a couple more weeks, I think, for the trailer, possibly. So hopefully sometime in May, middle of May, maybe.
Woo-woo.
I had to guess.
I'm excited.
I just voted like a old man, but it's fine.
Oh, geez, here we go. Joe, when that trailer does drop, if you want us to share it around, even on like our YouTube or whatever, to help you out, we're more than welcome to do whatever to help you out. Anyway,
Most
awesome,
definitely.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll let everybody know when it's up.
Definitely. And for those wondering, where is there any place right now, social media or anything that we can keep up to date with Crybaby Bridge or anything, or even you?
Yeah, I mean, you can always go to Facebook. It's open to the public, my Facebook account. I just created a public Instagram account. So if anybody got deleted, don't be offended, because I just started keeping like really, really close friends that like to see pictures of my kids and stuff. So I opened up a public one for Instagram. So just JP Willie, and you can add me on Instagram and follow me. You can go to the Crybaby Bridge, just a little film page on Facebook if you want to check out some stuff. We don't post on it much. I mean, those things are sort of pointless. Honestly, I'm probably going to delete them soon and just use my main one to like promote all of my works. It just gets really fucking monotonous, like juggling all these dumbass pages that no one likes anyway. So I'm just being real. So you can follow it there. Best way is just follow me on Twitter as well too. I'm very active on Twitter. It's my fave.
Yes, it is.
I don't even have a Twitter.
Twitter's the shit.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I can barely handle Instagram at this point. There's so much random crap on there. Twitter,
I mean, Twitter
makes
I have got all my podcasts and reviews and interviews and magazine articles and stuff all through Twitter. Never through Facebook, never through Instagram. It's been all through Twitter. It's a great connecting device, Twitter, in the social media world. I think it's probably the best one. Facebook is on the brink of extinction. Like, believe me, if I didn't have all these things going for me and I wasn't trying to make a name for myself in the literary world, and I wasn't trying to make a name for myself as a writer and a film director and filmmaker, believe me, all my social media would be gone. Like, it's just a cesspool of shit. So, I mean, that's just the only reason why I'm there, man.
And that's the only reason I don't even have a website.
Yep, that's the only reason I'm there, is to promote my works and, hopefully entertain people. I love entertaining people, but if it wasn't for the, profession I'm trying to get into after I retire from the military, I wouldn't have it. It'd all be gone. So, I mean, I do love entertaining people. I love, I just love doing what I do. And until the day comes that I lose my love for that, or nothing's really happening for me, I'll hang it up. And so will my social media.
Nice.
Good to know.
Well, to close this out, I gotta ask you now, Joe, because it's been a while and I haven't seen anything. So, what's going on with that Mario? I haven't seen anything about wanting to fight you or anything. What's up with that? What's going on?
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Mario, I got that new Mario Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch, and playing with my wife is absolutely a fucking atrocious. Like, all she does is fucking bounce off of me. And then we got Yoshi's Island, and then if you land on top of somebody in that, like, you start fucking piggybacking on them and shit. And she's like the fucking absolute worst. Like, every fucking goddamn time I'm trying to get a coin, she's going for the same fucking coin. And it's like, we end up like fighting after like one level. And so we don't really play it that much. She's absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I understand. I play Black Ops with my husband. He gets real butthurt when I get a higher score than him. It's fine.
I'm like, honey, how are we all going for the same fucking coins? I was like, there's like fucking coins way up top. I'll get the coins in the air. You stay the ones on the bottom. No, she just wants to fucking jump on me, bounce off my head, fuck me up like I'm trying to jump from one platform to the other. And she'll bounce and like hit my fucking brain and kick me down into the hole. It's ruthless, man. That new Mario is fucking ruthless as fuck.
She just can't do it in real life. She's just got to take out all of her aggression on you in a game. It's fine.
Yeah, I think she's killing me in video games.
Listen, I play Black Ops with my husband, and he gets real mad when I shoot him. And I'm like, oops, didn't see you. And he's like, whatever, man, I'm over here across the map again. Yeah, I get it.
He's like, God damn it, honey, why'd you shoot me in the dick with a fucking
knife? He's like, can we be on the same team so you can't shoot me anymore?
Stop dick-shotting me, Caroline.
Oh,
that's what I do.
You guys have been great. I'm going to go have beer now. You guys have been wonderful.
Well, thank you so
Not
much
a
again,
problem.
Joe.
Thank you.
And definitely keep
Always
us posted.
I will, man. I will. Thank you guys so much again for having me and being patient with me, get me on the net. Most listeners won't know, but I was late coming into the interview. So sorry. I have 5 fucking kids. It's like a goddamn jungle around here. So
Hey, I can't. I'm the oldest of 5. I get it. That's what I told Paul. I said he probably is either building something, taking something
I was
apart,
doing a dresser.
or he just forgot what he was doing, and then you said you were building a dresser. So I got it.
I
Oh,
moved the
good.
dresser upstairs and was drilling the handles in, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what fucking time is that interview? 8 o'clock? But it was an hour ahead, 8 o'clock. So, but we're good. We made it happen. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And like I said, Joe, you're always welcome back to talk horror and everything else with us.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Have a great night.
And on that note, thank you guys so much for listening to the interview with JP Willie or Joe Willie. And thank you once again, Cari, for helping out with the interview. And as always, everybody, make sure you rate us on any type of platform that you're listening to. Make sure that you love us or hate us, and we just want to know why. And on that note, like always, make sure that you tuck yourself really tight at nighttime. And as always, stay scary.